Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com, back with some more Pittsburgh Steelers recap and reaction to the Pittsburgh Steelers 26-7 loss to the Buffalo Bills. Pittsburgh now 6-6 on the season. Let's talk about it. Before we start, if you guys could like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out the site, SteelersDepot.com. Would really appreciate that. And man, where to start, where to begin, where to finish. You guys know what it looked like at Acrisure. Seen a lot of bad losses, even recently in recent years. The 2023 opener to the Niners, the Texans loss later that year, the collapse of 2024, the Christmas Day defeat against the Chiefs last season. But this is maybe not a new low, but maybe one Pittsburgh is revisiting far too often. Bottoming out in this one against a Buffalo team that was beat up, didn't have the starting tackles, their top flight tight end, one of their receivers, one of their leading tacklers at linebacker, on the road, a Bills team that's been struggling and not the juggernaut Bills that they have been the last couple of regular seasons. And while Pittsburgh hung in tough and had a first half lead, as the story's gone so many times before, Pittsburgh completely floundered in the final 30 minutes. And I think the product on the field and the scores and numbers themselves tell that story. Just to pull up some of the team stats in this one, Pittsburgh outsnapped 74-43, outgained 372 to 166. Time of possession in Buffalo's favor, 41-59 to 18-01. The Bills running for 249 yards in this game. So we'll start with Pittsburgh's defense. You had the first half takeaways, the splash, which were positive. Brandon Echols came to play today. So did Nick Herbig, but it felt like those were the only two. And Buffalo's style is not hidden, and they didn't do anything out of the norm in this one. They went back to the well time and time again. Zone runs, Cook bouncing them to the right side. He's got great vision. He's really good laterally, and Pittsburgh simply could not contain him. 32 carries for $144 for Cook. Backup Ray Davis, 9 for 62. Josh Allen, a rushing touchdown. 51 carries for 249 yards and a touchdown in this game. A record by an opponent in Heinz Field / Acrisure Stadium history. One of the largest totals Pittsburgh's ever allowed in a regular season game. I think the most since the Bills of the O.J. Simpson era. So Pittsburgh dominated up front. For whatever reason, not that this is the only factor, but there's the correlation at least. When Derek Carman does not play, Pittsburgh's rushing attack gets completely chewed up. That was true the first two games of the season by Seattle and by the Jets, and certainly true in this game. The backups, the replacements didn't do well, but no one did well. Patrick Queen got pushed around until he left with a hip injury. Kyle Duggar didn't feel well. They didn't tackle well. They didn't get off of blocks. They just got completely bodied up front. And Buffalo, so many times this year, other teams have set the tone to Pittsburgh, and that's not supposed to be how Pittsburgh wins. It's not how they're built to win. They want to be that tone setter, and they certainly were not in this game. So the pass game has not a lot of commentary to it. The 4th and goal touchdown that Josh Allen threw, he had two open receivers. Keon Coleman caught. He had a tight end open in the flat. Pittsburgh, I think, in zone, but kind of clumped up, and 3 guys covering 1 and 2 guys covering nobody. Allen picked his poison, got Echols to jump on a pump fake off the cat blitz, and found Coleman wide on open. But it was the running backs and the run game that completely dominated up front. Pittsburgh's run defense for the last several seasons really has not been what it should be, and it's run certainly very hot and cold this year. So it's just embarrassing. Losing is one thing, but getting your lunch money taken the way the Buffalo did to Pittsburgh is another, and it is just shameful for any franchise to have that kind of output against them. 249 by Buffalo, but for a Steelers team at home as a point of pride is really embarrassing. Offensively was not any better. No ground game for Pittsburgh in this one. 18 carries, 58 yards, 3.2 yard average. Obviously getting down in the second half was a factor, but Pittsburgh barely ran any plays in the second half. So that was not an issue. Pittsburgh did not run well at any point in this game. There was 1 2nd and 10 run by Warren that popped, but that was it. And Bills team that was 31st in the NFL in run defense, had allowed 87 yards or more in every single game this season, giving up just 58 in this one. So Pittsburgh just not able to get anything on the ground in the pass game was somehow even worse. Aaron Rodgers, Mason Rudolph combined 10 of 24 for a buck 17, no touchdowns, 1 interception, 1 sack. Rodgers strip sack fumble on the first play of the second half, and Buffalo took the lead and took control of the game from there. Play action has been abysmal in Pittsburgh the whole season, really after week 1. Week 1 it was good, since then it's been terrible. Last week, 2nd and 12 play action, strip sack fumble in field goal fringe range. Chicago recovers, scores a touchdown. This week, strip sack fumble off of play action, nothing open. Rodgers gets blindsided. His nose is bloody, potentially broken. Not sure there. Probably hurt his wrist again. And Buffalo runs it in for a touchdown. But when receivers were getting open, the quarterbacks weren't getting them the ball. Roman Wilson down the right sideline. Rodgers missed him. He said he missed him post-game. I wasn't sure if Wilson's supposed to drift his route a little more to the sideline, but Rodgers owned it, so we'll take his word for it. There was a mesh concept over the middle where Jonnu Smith is wide open, and Rodgers reads it wrong and throws it to a covered Metcalf for an incompletion. And Mason Rudolph overthrowing in a triple coverage. Darnell Washington, no idea what you're even trying to accomplish there. Rudolph was bad in very limited action, but somehow left a horrible impression despite, 5 snaps before the very end of the game. And then there were times where, again, guys just aren't getting open or are not making plays. DK Metcalf slipping, not winning on a goal line route. That should have been a handoff, but still Metcalf not winning it. Austin not coming down with a contested catch. Third down, tough play, but plays you want your receivers, need your receivers to make when cornerbacks don't have vision on the football. And just a lot of times where guys aren't getting open. Jonnu Smith, man, what a terrible year for Jonnu Smith. This looks like just one of the worst calculations. And you thought on paper, Arthur Smith, Jonnu Smith, back again, part 3, gonna go well. Pro Bowl season last year, 80 catches, 800 plus yards. No, I've never seen two players with less chemistry than Rodgers and Smith. And Rodgers throwing a signal to Smith, wants him to run skinny post over the middle. Smith cuts it out, runs to the corner, pass incomplete. And it's just simple stuff like that's super frustrating. Smith has been completely ineffective in this offense. Whereas Pat Freiermuth, 0 catches, 0 targets for your highly paid tight end. It's unbelievable. Nothing vertically, but there was nothing at all in the pass game. Your receivers it was just Metcalf caught a pass. Actually, I'm looking at that now. Darnell, only 3 receptions from your tight ends. Your running backs had 4 receptions of the 10 that you had on the day. So Gainwell had a nice play, nice one-handed catch that set up the Jalen Warren touchdown on a bad ball by Rodgers, by the way, on a escort swing, and they're somehow missing it. So kind of sums it up. The O-line seemed to do, I don't know. Obviously not very good job with their push in the run game, but it's hard to point the finger directly at them. It feels like there's a lot of other issues, and you had Renegade booed, you had the fire Tomlin chants, and it's all deserved for how bad Pittsburgh is playing. Special teams continues to be poor. Waitman, below the line. Kick return team, abysmal. Bad field position, penalties, sloppy play across the board. Metcalf getting flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct. Hayward in his emotions and taunting, and draws a penalty taunting after a 4th and goal touchdown. Dude, what are you doing? You trying to bow up in the moment like that? And then he actually had a tackle for loss, and credit to Hayward, had a good play, and then Allen scores in the next play after that. So man, it's just bad all the way around. The only silver lining is if you can somehow find a way to turn it back on, flip the light switch on, and beat Baltimore next weekend, you're in first place and you are in control of the AFC North, and you take it from there. But obviously, Pittsburgh feels a long ways away from getting to that point. Even though Baltimore, I'm sure, feels pretty bad after getting upset by the Bengals on Thanksgiving. We'll let the season play out, but obviously this thing looks like it's careening. I don't think Pittsburgh has the answers. They clearly don't. And if they did, they're not implementing, they're not executing across the board. Every phase, offense, defense, and special teams, Pittsburgh continues to be inconsistent and in some ways unpredictable, but now it's becoming just trends and patterns of this team really playing bad football. The offense is completely high school-esque. They can't do anything. The defense can't stop the run consistently enough. The pressure isn't there. 0 sacks on Allen after being sacked 8 times against Houston. Granted, Allen didn't have to do much in this game. Not a lot of straight dropbacks, and that certainly helped when you can run the ball 51 times. But yeah, just embarrassing. That's the bottom line here. And that's where Pittsburgh has to proceed and try to right this ship, but it seems to be getting away from them, and that's obvious enough. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you guys watching. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, check out the site, SteelersDepot.com. Unfortunately, but maybe fortunately, there'll be some videos this week that break down all the ugly of this game Sunday at Acrisure. So thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.